Honeybees in the Florida Panhandle are thriving despite Hurricane Michael. The Category 5 storm slammed ashore at Mexico Beach last October, some 20 miles southwest of Wewa. That's where beekeeper Buddy Nachtsheim, there we go, got the bee boxes reassembled, and since late May, his buzzers have been churning out what he's calling hurricane honey.
What a comeback story for beekeeper Buddy Nachtsheim there, and that's at least a positive, right? We don't see a lot of positives coming out of these situations very often.
Well, Buddy joins us now from Overstreet, Florida this morning to talk more about this. Good morning to you.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. So what exactly did Hurricane Michael do to your area specifically and your bee colony?
Well, it pretty much devastated our area. So I live about 6 miles from Mexico Beach, and of course, when the hurricane come in, we didn't know what happened. It just was, so much wind and power, and we live on 5 acres, and we got another 5 acres across the street with a big privacy fence. And I had the bees up against the privacy fence underneath an oak tree. And, of course, we were just staying in the house, dealing with that, and wasn't really concerned about the bees. And then, the hurricane came and, about wiped everything out, knocked all the trees down. And, of course, after all that happened, the next day, we saw some of the local, actually it was a Marion County sheriff guy showed up, and I said, what happened? I said, you guys are ground zero, and of course we'd lost power and everything. And
so, Buddy, given that situation, I mean, how did your bees possibly survive this storm?
Well, the only thing I can say was the grace of God. I prayed over them, peace and protection, and over the whole land here. And what I think happened is when the wind came, it blew this privacy fence down, and it knocked the bees over, and they were underneath the privacy fence. And I think the wind was going over the top of them because after it took a while to even get out there to the front of the property to see where the bees were. And after about the 4th day, my dad said, you better go out there and check on those bees. And I just become a beekeeper, a couple months earlier, so I went to familiar with bees, so I put on my beekeeping suit and went out there, and of course they was mad as heck, and and so I had to start getting all the limbs and fences off the top of them, and then I slowly put them back together, put them back on the stands that my dad had built. And put them back together, and I just kind of wished them luck, said, you guys are on your own, I hope you make it. And, of course, we were dealing with, blue tarps and Miss Queen trying to get the roof back.
And, Buddy, I understand the blooms were really...
It was about to rain I think it was about the 4th day, it was about to start raining, so
yeah, and
that
the
was
blooms
the reason I put the bees together.
The blooms were really scarce after Michael, so you had to feed the bees or they'd starve. So what did you do then?
Yeah, actually I got a text message from the Florida Beekeepers Association, and they were bringing in semi-truckloads of corn syrup, and they said, you need to feed your bees. Well, I hadn't even thought about it, and I got looking around, and everything was brown. There was no blooms anywhere, and that's what they eat. And so I went up to Wewa with a couple 5-gallon buckets, and they gave me corn syrup. Then I had to buy these top-high feeder boxes and put them on the top of the bees, and I poured that in there, and they started sucking it down like it was no tomorrow. They were literally starving to death.
Yeah, I'll bet. Well, Buddy, we understand you're selling a limited supply of hurricane honey, as you call it. So where can people find out more about that?
Probably the best thing would be go to my website, goodnewshoney.com, and they can find out more information there and how to get in touch with me. And, of course, I also sell Tupelo honey, and that's what I started bottling in these hurricane honey jars was Tupelo honey because I'm pretty much out of the honey that the bees produced. It was more of a wildflower honey from the land here. And Wewa, which is about 15 miles from where I am, is where the Tupelo honey comes from, and it's world famous, and it's an excellent honey, and that's the bigger picture. All these Tupelo beekeepers up in Wewa, their hives got damaged, and the Tupelo trees got damaged, and that's the bigger picture was the damage that was done to the crop up there.
Well, Buddy, thanks so much for joining us. Buddy Nachtsheim in Overstreet, Florida this morning. Love some honey. I bake a lot with honey, actually.
Yeah.
And I put honey in my tea all the time.
So many impacts, though, from Hurricane Michael that you just wouldn't really think of. You can check out goodnewshoney.com, by the way, if you want more information on Buddy's honey.
There you go.